Vamos a empezar en inglés, pero como siempre puedo poner sus preguntas ahí en español de cualquier tema de migración, de accidentes, de penal, lo que ustedes escogen. Ojalá le guste la nueva vista que tenemos aquí en nuestra oficina. Ya estamos en el 11 piso, todavía bienvenidos a conocer nosotros aquí. Aquí esperamos. Y tenemos un guest muy especial hoy, a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, that we have today. It is our unbelievable pleasure and privilege to now have on our team. They call him the personal injury guru. They call him the car accident whisperer, Mr. Alvaro Vazquez. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah, Alvaro Vazquez is in the house. Mr. Vasquez, before we start giving people amazing information on what to do if they're in a car accident, of what they should have as their insurance coverage, I know because you're the guru to go to in that area, I want to first give them an opportunity to get to know who Alvaro Vasquez is. So if you can give us a little bit of insight into who you are as a person to get the ball rolling, man, that'd be appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you, Ray, and good morning, everyone. Who's Alvaro Vasquez? I am a son of two immigrants from beautiful Oaxaca, Mexico. My parents came here, went through the legal process, and like I said, they taught me the beautiful cultures of our country, and as well the cultures that we and the benefits that we have here in the United States. So I'm very, very blessed to have been able to learn that information from a young start. I grew up in Sunny Slope. I'm a huge Sunny Slope fanatic. Our community is a beautiful place, and we stick together. So, like I said, any people out there from Sunny Slope, my hand salutes to you guys. Love and respect the slopes. But like Ray, you mentioned, I'm a big sports fan. I love sports. Diamondbacks, Cardinals. Huge Suns fan since 1992. That's the year I was born. That's the year that they went to the championship, and hopefully in my lifetime we'll win another champion. We'll get a championship. But yeah, it's amazing. I love Phoenix. It's born and raised Phoenix for sure.
Yeah, Alvaro Vasquez, you can say a lot of great things about him, but rest assured, he's got that 602 pride, born and raised in the AZ. He's got that Oaxaca pride, and he has an unbelievable pride in service. So when it came to, hey, do we want to bring Mr. Vasquez on the team or not? It was like there's just not more of a natural fit. Like what he's about and what we're about and what we stand for, what he stands for, perfectly aligned. So we've had Alvaro on our team now, and the personal injury, the car accident cases have just exploded, like just taking off. And Alvaro, if you can give people a little bit of background on yourself, how did you get into that area? How did you get into the car accident personal injury world?
So growing up, I've always wanted to be in the legal field. I love helping people out. I love serving our communities. Straight out of high school, I worked at a water store in South Phoenix, and I had one customer. One customer would come once a day to refill his water jug. And, I would always make conversation with the guy, and he told me one day, hey, I really like you. I really would like you to come work for me. And at the time, I had no idea what the insurance claims field was about or anything about it. So I told him, yeah, absolutely, I'll go work for you. Little did I know that it was one of the big major insurance companies, that's been around for, hundreds of years. So that's how I got my foot in the door. I worked in the first notice of loss department for an insurance company. And I slowly grew and almost worked every single department in claims. So I've been very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to have that background in claims.
So you started off your career working for the man, working for the insurance companies. Yeah.
Absolutely. Corporate America right out the door.
Wow. Tell us about your experience there. Like, how do you think those big companies treat specifically our community?
So the perception with insurance companies that they're there to help you out. They're always there to be there. They're literally your insurance. The thing about that is that sometimes when you speak to your insurance, they're supposed to be in your best interest, but sometimes they're not. And that's very fortunate because you depend on them. So when I worked in claims, there was multiple times where people would, like I said, like there's really good people and there's really bad people, just like anything in the world. But sometimes they're more invested in their company and what bonuses they're going to get instead of helping out their insured, which is a client. So, to answer your question, sometimes you see a lot of nasty things that goes involved with claims, with insurance. That's why I'm blessed to be on this side of the field now, to make sure that we get you compensated for everything that you're entitled to. Every claim that we can do for you, we will do for you to make sure that you maximize your compensation, whether it be with the defendant's insurance company or your insurance company. Because some people don't know that they can get money from their own insurance company.
Absolutely, man. So you went there, you worked in corporate America, you learned the tricks in the trade, the inside scoop of how they pay claims, how they deny claims, and now you use that information to serve the community. Is that an accurate representation of what you do?
Absolutely. That's what we do, and that's what I live for. I literally come to work every single day knowing that I'm going to do my best to maximize our clients' compensation. Like I said, in corporate America, sometimes you're a number. You go through numbers and numbers. You get 300 claims a day, and that's not even exaggerating. That's an accurate number. So people get lost through the mix. But the minute they know that we're representing them, they get pushed to the front of the stack because they know that we know the ins and outs and we know what we're going to do to make sure they get compensated the right way.
And one reason that I wanted to go and move our firm into more personal injury and car accidents is because I was seeing our community, Latino surnames, Spanish speakers, we were getting lower offers than someone that didn't have the Latino surname or weren't Spanish speaking. Is that something that you've experienced in your career doing personal injury cases?
All the time, and my personal life too. An example is my wife got involved in a very small car accident. She got rear-ended. The insurance adjuster told her, you have 48 hours to accept $600 as your full and final settlement. If you don't accept this by the second day, then the money's off the table. I went nuts because in a personal injury case, you have up to 2 years to file a claim, 2 years to settle your case. That person scared my wife. My wife called me. She's like, "Hey, I need to take this $600 offer today, or if not, it's off the table." I called the adjuster. I told him, "What are you doing? First of all, I'm going to report you to the Department of Insurance because you're giving false information." And then luckily we were able to settle that money for literally 10 times more than they were offering, 5 times more than they were offering. But it's just like I said, knowledge. I don't like my family being taken advantage of. I don't want our communities being taken advantage of. And it's a passion that I have that I will literally fight tooth and nail for you guys because I'm tired of people getting ripped off. I'm tired of people seeing, okay, this is Alvaro, it isn't Al. Alvaro's going to get a less offer than Al. And that's not right because, like I said, if you're truly injured and you've been the victim of a car accident, you should be compensated for your damages that you had and your out-of-pocket expenses. So, Ray, like I said, like in my personal career and my professional career, because I saw it on the professional side as well, people weren't giving the fair offers that they should have been giving to compensate someone. So that's why I'm really blessed to be part of the firm. So we make sure that we are able to compensate our clients and make sure that they do get fully recovered. If not fully recovered, at least, like I said, get compensated. Because the thing about it is, like, when people online say that we're winning, we're going to win your case. No one wins if you're injured. And that's the misperception that we get. We're here to help you out to set reasonable expectations. You're going to get better. You're not going to have any medical debt, and you're going to get a check in your pocket. So that's what we, reasonably can do.
Absolutely. Mr. Vasquez, the amount of wealth and knowledge that you have is incredible. And I don't want to understate what you bring to the table, not just to our firm, but to everybody that's fortunate enough to work with you. I mean, there's cases that I've seen you pull out some of your tricks from your bag of tricks, and all of a sudden the person's getting well compensated when before insurance company wasn't trying to offer anything. But that expertise, that experience that you have, the people that are watching, people out there in the community, what would your advice be to them if they got into a car accident? What's some things that they should do? We'll start with that one first. And then after what they should do, what are some things that they shouldn't do? And again, folks, this is extremely valuable information coming from someone whose absolute passion is personal injury, car accident. So you're about to get some golden nuggets here. Come back and watch it, take some notes. Here comes some straight truth bombs. So Mr. Vasquez, please help us out with that.
Absolutely. So whenever you're involved in an accident, if you're severely injured, please seek medical attention immediately. That's the best thing that you guys could do for your case and for yourself. Please make sure that everyone in your vehicle is okay first. Second, you would file a police report. A lot of people are scared to file a police report because of their immigration status. It's okay to file a police report because that's going to help out in the long term during the investigation of a car accident. If there isn't a police report, insurance companies have up to 30 days to investigate your accident. If the police report is going to speed up that process a little bit more. So it's very, very important to get a police report instead of having a word versus word situation. Once again, after that, seek medical attention immediately. Go to, if it's necessary, go to the hospital, go see your doctor immediately. The more time it takes you to seek that medical attention, if you're injured, then the more time an adjuster is going to say, okay, if you were severely injured or you were involved in, you're doing a personal injury claim, then why didn't you go to the doctor? If you're injured, for example, if your kid's injured and you notice that your kid's injured, you're going to do everything it takes to take your son or daughter to the doctor. They're going to say the same thing about you. If it took you 2 weeks to go to the doctor and now you're claiming an injury, why didn't you go? And I know our people, we love, we're hard workers. We love to go to work. We're saying, no, we're okay. But if we're not okay, we need to go to the doctor because when it's documented, it's coming from a doctor. I could take your word for it. Rick, we could all take each other's word for it, but that doesn't matter unless we're doctors. So if a doctor says, yes, your client is injured due to this accident, then it gives us leverage to say, hey, adjuster, you're not a doctor as well. The doctor is saying that this injury was caused by a car accident that your insured caused. Now our client has a bill that has to get paid, and we have proof that they're injured, and now they should be compensated for that time of injury. So, immediately go see a doctor, file a police report, and call our office. More important than anything, call our office. We're on standby. We have staff that answers calls basically 24/7. So by all means, call our office. If you get in a car accident 2:30 in the morning, call our office. We will make sure that we'll get that call and call you as soon as possible. But make sure, first of all, that you get a police report, you seek medical attention, and call our office. Don't speak to anyone else after that.
There's 1, 2, and 3 tidbits, ladies and gentlemen, that you got from someone that used to work in the insurance defense for insurance companies. So he knows what they look for to try to deny your claim and try to keep money from getting into your pocket, from their giant pocket, so they can keep paying famous people to do commercials and whatnot and name stadiums after themselves and whatnot. He's telling you what to do. There's 3 things right there, right? So thank you, Mr. Vasquez, for sharing that. Police report, seek medical attention immediately, and give us a call, 602-910-4040, so that we can personally guide you through on your individual case. Then you're not going to remember, right? You can go about your day, something's going to happen. You're not getting a car accident today, tomorrow, hopefully never. But if it does happen, it's probably going to be months down the line. So just go ahead, put us in your phone, 602-910-4040, attorneys, abogados, whatever you prefer. When something bad to you happens, give us a call, give us a text, and we'll give you the refresher of what to do if you're in a car accident. Now, Mr. Vasquez, what not to do? What are some stay aways from if you get in a car accident? What are some things people should avoid doing?
The number one thing you should avoid doing is talking to the insurance company. There's a department in the insurance companies that's called a first call settlement department. They're fast track claims. So when you call the insurance company, usually they'll call you between 24 to 48 hours, depending on what carrier it is. Once that insurance adjuster gets your file, their job is to settle your case right then and there. So in the example that I gave of my wife, you have 24 to 48 hours to accept this check. If people accept that check, it's a full and final release. You can't ask for any more money. Just to put it in perspective of, if you go to your doctor, if you have insurance, you're looking at $50 to $100 copay, right? You go get an MRI x-ray. That's probably $1,000 right there. You go to a chiropractor and their bills usually around $3,000 for a month. For my wife to accept that $600, she was gonna get paid for nothing at all. And that's just her first day. Imagine if she needed long-term treatment, 3 months, 6 months. After 6 months, she goes in for, a herniated disc, needs injections, needs all this other additional treatment. Her case value could have gone up to easily $30,000 at that point after 6 months. But if she would have taken that first offer, she would have shot herself in the foot, got $600. She would have been in pain for the rest of her life. So don't talk to the insurance companies. What they will do as well is, some insurance companies, they'll go out there, look at your car, they'll see your damage. They have checks in hand. So they'll go ahead and say, your car is valued at X amount of money. They'll write a check right there. You'll cash that, and once you're done, your vehicle repairs are done with. Then they'll mention to you, how's your injury? Are you hurt? Yeah, I'm hurt here or there, or I'm feeling a little sore. Okay, I'm going to make that go away. I apologize for the inconvenience. Here's another $600 or $1,000. That might sound great at the time, but like I said, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. Please don't talk to the insurance companies. Like I said, there's good adjusters, there's bad adjusters. But at the end of the day, they're there to save money for their insureds and their company. Once again, call our office 602-910-4040. Let us talk to the insurance company. After you retain our office, you will never have to talk to the insurance company. We will do everything from beginning to end because I want to make sure that if you say something, that it won't hurt your case down the road. And Ray, if you don't mind, if I could give a quick example of it. If,
Please do.
what people sometimes make they say, hey, I was turning left. I turned left out of a parking lot. Okay. Or, so people are going to be like, the other car was speeding down the road and I hit them. The insurance agent is going to be like, okay, did you see them? Yes. Okay, then why did you pull out? You're at fault, right? And then you say, oh, I didn't see them. Okay, you weren't paying attention, so you're at fault. So either way, they're going to find a way to put you at fault. In Arizona, there's comparative negligence. The minute they put some percentage at fault on you, then they're not going to pay out your claim in full. So we want to make sure that we get 100% liability on your claim. We want to make sure that they pay your claim from beginning to end. Because, what good does it do you if they're only going to pay 50% of your claim? So that's one thing that I'm very passionate about. Don't talk to the insurance companies. Let us, that we've been doing this for a very long time and we pride ourselves in taking care of your case. Let us handle that. I don't want you guys to say something that's going to, affect your case down the road.
Yeah, Alvaro, I feel like when you were talking there, like a tiger should have came out or like a bulldog or something, like, we fight for you, and probably some kind of copyright or trademark infringement there on some sort of law firm that use these gimmicks. But honestly, it's like it pisses us off when people try to take advantage of other people, which is why we do immigrants' rights work, because we don't like government harassing people for violating their human rights, criminal defense work, because we don't like government taking people's liberty away and taking away from their family, and car accident cases, because we don't like these big insurance companies that try to screw over our community. Apologies for my language, but they try to say, like Alvaro says, there's departments that are simply dedicated to giving you the least amount of money that they can before you can get an attorney to defend yourself. And that infuriates me, and that pisses me off. And that pisses Mr. Vasquez off and everybody else here on our team. So do yourself a favor. People say all the time, I don't need an attorney. I can negotiate with the insurance company by myself. Mr. Vasquez, what would you say to someone that gave you that argument?
I told them, I'd flat out tell them, if you try to negotiate a settlement, you're literally like, your victory is a loss. There is no way that you're going to be compensated for, like I said, your medical treatment, your vehicle expenses. There's around 4 to 5 claims just alone in your vehicles, just your vehicle's part. Your vehicle repairs, your total loss of use. There's diminished value claims. There's so many different claims that people don't do out there. Let alone law firms don't even handle these claims. Our offices do, because we want to make sure that you get the full value of your case. And then there's, your injury claim from consortium. There's so many other claims that we could do for you. Like I said, like by you taking that $1,000 check and saying that was a victory, that's a big loss. That's a huge loss. Because the insurance companies, they just check it off their list. That guy gets their bonus at the end of the year and they move on. But unfortunately, you still have the expenses. Your injury right now, you might not feel it, but down the road, unfortunately, people do feel it and they can't go back. So like I'm saying, like, please, please, please don't shortcut yourself. Don't do that to yourself. And more importantly, don't do that to your family. Because if, like, for example, like my wife, like I've been working in the industry for years, and she legit was scared. She's like, they're going to take that offer off the table. If I know that they're doing that to my family, my community, my wife, I don't want them to do that to you guys. So the $600 is no gain whatsoever. That's an insult offer to you guys. So anytime you guys get offered that, so I really want you guys to know that they're literally like, they're joking, they're laughing at you. That's not an offer. It's an insult.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. I think that well answers the question. And I tell people all the time too, like when you go to an attorney, one, never pay an attorney for a car accident case. Don't give an attorney money, right? It should be taken, and what we do here is what's called a contingency fee. So if contingency means if we win, we get a percentage. If we lose, we get nothing. All the time, all the energy, all the phone calls is just a waste for us. So only if you win do we win. And what we do is we add more value than what they're currently offering to you, so that you end up with a bigger chunk in your pocket to be able to take care of your family and your loved ones when you're in an accident. So definitely give us a call, right? Mr. Vasquez, if we can get also, that's car accidents aren't going to happen to someone today or tomorrow. We hope. If they do, then they should know this stuff. But what can someone do now? Like, is there something they can do in their insurance? Do you recommend people have a certain type of insurance or certain policy to make sure that they're covered in case of an accident?
Absolutely. So I want to let everyone know, first of all, that every insurance company sells the exact same thing. If you go to your big major brands, the ones that are on commercials, on TV, they sell the exact same coverage as the lower uh, mall strip insurance companies. The only difference, the only difference is how quick are you going to get a phone call back? What kind of service are you going to get back? For example, if you go to your big corporate, you know, I want to say any big corporate insurance company, the minimum in Arizona is 25,000 per person, 50,000 per event, to cover injuries to someone else. So if you hit someone or you injure someone, that's going to cover someone else. The big insurance companies, they sell that coverage. That's the minimum. If you go to the small insurance company, that's the minimum. They're all the same. The only difference that you're going to pay is the customer service. The company that I worked for, one of the companies that I worked for, they weren't the best, so they were cheaper. So when you call in and file a claim, you're going to call back within a week. Flat out honesty. If you go with the big insurance companies, you're going to get a call back between 24 to 48 hours guaranteed. Guaranteed, because you're paying for that service. The amount of money that you're paying for is the service. So, and there's variable things that kind of like determine your premium. But I won't go into that. That's a different topic. But so when you go and buy insurance, liability is to cover someone else's actions. So God forbid I get involved in an accident and I hurt someone, and their injuries right now to go to the hospital is roughly $10,000. They go to the hospital, they have treatment. I'm covered up to, as a minimum, $25,000 to protect myself and my assets and my family. So God forbid that like I hit someone and I killed them. A life is priceless. There's no price that you could ever put on a life. So my insurance is not going to be able to cover that. I have some assets, so they'll be able to go against me and go after my assets. I don't want that. So what I want is I want to get higher insurance coverage depending on my life. So if I have a little bit more assets or more properties or more things, I want to make sure that I'm covered so they don't go after my assets. So that's to cover someone else. What I really, really recommend to everyone, and I beg you guys, I can't tell you how many horror stories I've had. I beg you guys, get uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist. That's the best thing you guys could do for your family and for yourselves. We can't pick who hits us, but we can protect ourselves with that coverage. So if someone hits me that has no insurance, that person, I can't go after them because if they don't have the minimum insurance of $40 a month, logic is going to tell you that they don't have enough money to pay me. So if I sue them, go to court, we'll win. But I can't collect money from someone that doesn't have any money. That's the flat out truth. And in Arizona right now, it's very close to 40% of people don't have enough insurance or don't have insurance at all. That's almost the same as flipping a quarter up in the air and seeing if it hits. So there's a high risk and a high possibility that you're going to get hit by someone that doesn't have insurance. The best way to avoid that is get insurance that will cover yourself and your family in case someone hits you that doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough insurance. That is up to us. That's not up to faith. That's up to us. So if I love my family, I love my wife, God forbid something happens to me or her, I know that we're protected because I chose that coverage. I don't get to pick and choose what coverage the other person has. So uninsured motorists, underinsured motorists, get that coverage and it'll save you guys the biggest headache and the biggest, avoid prices. It's not worth the risk, ladies and gentlemen. It's not worth the risk. Like I said, for an additional $12 a month, the minimum, like I said, you can go to like the cheapest insurance company. The minimum and the state minimum in Arizona is $25.50. You'll get covered for $25,000 for an additional, the $20 a month. You're going to be covered for $25,000. God forbid someone hits you. You guys go to the hospital. You're paid. You're going to get paid. We're going to make sure that your bills are taken care of. We're going to make sure you guys are compensated. That you guys aren't in a hole. That will get you back on your feet. But you guys, like I said, you guys have that option. Don't leave it to fate. That you guys can do for yourselves.
Great advice from Mr. Vasquez. And we wouldn't tell you folks anything that we don't do personally. I have the maximum amount that I can on uninsured and underinsured, because when you see these kinds of things every day, you realize I don't ever want it to happen to me. I don't want it to ever happen to my family, but it happens more often than we think. Nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, I'm going to go get in a car accident today. But if it does happen to you and there's something serious that occurs, and that 40% is someone without insurance or that has the minimum insurance, you're out of luck, right? So the one thing to do today is call your insurance company, say, I want to add uninsured and underinsured coverage to my policy. Get that going today, please. Any questions about that, give us a call, talk to me, Alvaro, anybody else on our team, and we'll give you the rundown on what that means. If anybody's giving you a hard time adding that to your policy, give us a call as well. We'll definitely help you out with that. And I see the questions coming in so much. Thank you, folks. Keep them coming. We'll get to the immigration in just a minute. Really appreciate it. Angelina, Angeles, Prince. Prince was given a shout out here, right? The Revolutionary Fires couldn't agree more. Our outstanding legal luminaries. Appreciate everyone on your team for helping my uncle, especially the great Jasmine Alaga, our partner here, for giving us a victory a few months ago from the court. So thank you so much, Prince. Graduate of the Barrett Honors College, Arizona State University, and future attorney himself, and Senator Mr. Murray. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll get to the immigration question, Angelina, in just a second. First, vamos a cambiar a español para que todos que nos están escuchando en español puedan saber las mismas cosas que nos acaba de explicar Alvaro Vazquez, con mucha experiencia, originalmente sus papás de Oaxaca y de aquí de Sunny Slope, de aquí del Phoenix. Ya nos está guiando y creciendo en nuestra área de accidentes, defensa por nuestra comunidad. Y Álvaro, usted dio increíble información a nuestra comunidad que qué deben hacer en un accidente. Si puede decir en español su recomendación a la comunidad de qué ellos deben hacer si están en un accidente.
Sí, claro que sí, Rey. Entonces, cuando alguien tenga un accidente, es bien importante que la primera cosa que hagan es hablen a la policía y hagan un reporte del accidente. Ya sé que mucha gente a veces tiene miedo a hacer un reporte por su estatus, pero eso no importa. La razón es porque cuando usted tenga un accidente, no queremos que sea un caso que sea palabra contra palabra. Las aseguranzas van a defender su cliente y ellos van a hacer todo posible para que su cliente no sea culpable por el accidente. Un reporte de policía nos ayuda a nosotros para ponerle más presión a la compañía de seguros para que paguen por su reclamo que usted tenga. La segunda cosa que haga es, si está lesionado, vaya a ver un médico lo más pronto posible, sea el doctor del hospital o sea su doctor primario. Es bien importante que vayan a ver un médico lo más pronto posible. La cosa que pasa es, mucha gente no va al doctor después de un accidente. Pasa tiempo, una semana, 2 semanas. Después de eso, el ajustador que revise su caso va a decir, ok, si no fue al doctor después del accidente, algo pudo pasar en ese tiempo para causarle un tipo de dolor que no sea por este accidente. Entonces es bien importante que cuando tenga un accidente vaya a ver el médico para que lo documenten. Nosotros vamos a tomar su palabra de ustedes, nosotros vamos a representarlos lo máximo posible. Pero la cosa al final del día es que nosotros no somos médicos. El médico, si él escribe, él o ella escribe, nuestro paciente tuvo o está lesionado por este accidente, eso es lo que escribió el doctor. Esa es la palabra del doctor. El ajustador no es un doctor. Entonces, eso es buena evidencia que usted tuvo una lastimadura, está lesionado por este accidente. Eso nos ayuda a nosotros a darle más compensación por su lastimadura que usted tuvo. La tercera cosa es háblenos a nosotros. Por favor, no hablen con las compañías de seguro o no hablen con nadie más. Nosotros somos los que la vamos a guiar en su tratamiento y también para ayudarle a recuperar lo máximo posible en su reclamo de su lesión y su reclamo de su carro. Queremos asegurarnos que la aseguranza le pague el valor justo de su carro y también que le paguen el valor justo de su lesión que ha tenido por el accidente.
Excelentísima información, señor Vázquez, que la comunidad debe hacer, y usted ya contestó la pregunta, claro, que yo escucho en muchas personas: si estoy aquí sin documentos, ¿todavía puedo hacer un reclamo o no? Usted dijo claro que sí, ¿verdad?
Sí, claro que sí. Como digo, es algo bien importante que lo haga porque no queremos que Dios no quiera que pase algo, pero Si el acusador o el defendiente que le pegó está diciendo otra palabra, cambio de palabra, por lo menos ya tenemos el reporte ahí. Tenemos a alguien que fue a investigar el accidente.
Y el más importante cosa de no hacer, usted sí habló un poco sobre eso también, pero quiero que si usted explica más. Usted dijo no hablar con la compañía de seguridad sin abogado, ¿verdad?
Correcto. Por favor, no hablen con la compañía de seguro. Si usted habla con la compañía de seguro, usted está lastimando su caso por varias razones. La primera razón es ellos están entrenados para no confundirlos, pero cada cosa que usted diga tiene un implemento en su caso. Si usted dice, ¿sabes qué? Miré la persona. Entonces van a decir, ok, si la miraste, ¿por qué dio vuelta? Usted te van a echar la culpa. Si usted dice, no lo vi, ok, usted no estaba poniendo atención. Cualquier manera que usted diga algo, ellos van a tratar de echarle la culpa a usted. Aunque le echen la culpa el 50%, 20%, 10%, ellos quieren sacarle por lo menos algo de porcentaje de su reclamo para que no paguen su reclamo. Eso no es justo. Por favor, la cosa peor que pueden hacer es hablar con las compañías de seguro. Deje que nosotros manejemos su reclamo y nosotros vamos a hablar con ellos. Usted ya no tiene que hablar con ellos después que nos contraten nosotros.
Perfecto. Y una cosa que la comunidad puede hacer para proteger a ellos y su familia ahorita relacionado a su seguridad, si nos puede explicar qué puede hacer la comunidad hoy mismo.
Sí, por supuesto que sí. La cosa que pueden hacer es, si ustedes gustan, márquenos a nosotros, revisamos su cobertura de su póliza, pero por favor, agarren la cobertura que se llama Uninsured Motorist y Underinsured Motorist. Es UM y UIM. Lo que pasa en Arizona es que hay varias gente que no tiene aseguranza, no tiene suficiente aseguranza. El porcentaje la última vez que yo chequeé es de casi el 40%. Si tira una cora, es casi lo mismo que 50-50. La posibilidad que alguien te pegue que no tenga aseguranza es alto. No quiero que ustedes lo arriesguen. Lo que sí podemos 100% saber es qué cobertura nosotros tenemos. Entonces usted hable con su agente de aseguranza y diga, ¿sabes qué? Yo quiero esta cobertura. Porque esta cobertura nos va a cubrir a mi familia y la gente que yo adoro lo más. Cuando usted haga esa cobertura va a cubrir en caso si alguien les pega que no tenga aseguranza o no tiene suficiente aseguranza. Igualmente, lo estoy diciendo en español, se me olvidó decirlo en inglés, pero igualmente, si usted tiene a alguien en su familia que viva con usted, pero ellos no tienen una póliza, tu póliza puede transferir a esa persona y cubrirlos. Entonces, un buen ejemplo es, yo no tengo hijos, no tengo niños todavía, pero si yo tengo un hijo que está en colegio y ellos viven en otro estado, otra ciudad, y Dios no quiera que le pase algo, pero algo le pasa, la persona que les pegó no tenga aseguranza, lo atropellaron, hay que decir que lo atropellaron. La persona que le pegó no tuvo aseguranza. Mi hijo o hija no está en mi aseguranza, pero como vivían conmigo y son familiares míos, mi póliza lo cubre a él automáticamente. Se llama Resident Relative. Es una cosa que muchos bufetes no miran. Eso es algo que nosotros miramos porque es más importante sacarle agua a piedras. Queremos maximizar lo que ganamos. Entonces, en ese caso, mi hijo que lo atropellaron o una persona que no tuvo aseguranza, ellos benefician de mi póliza. Entonces, como les digo, pero tienen que tener las coberturas necesarias. Yo puedo proteger mi familia y yo mismo, comparado que depender en alguien que tenga aseguranza, porque no sé si tengan aseguranza o no. Entonces, es bien importante que no arriesguen eso. La cosa más segura en la vida es lo que nosotros tenemos, lo que nosotros tenemos control. Entonces, hagan eso, por favor, se lo suplico, porque es bien importante que hagan eso.
Pedazos de oro, comunidad, que ustedes deben aprovechar. Estamos hablando con Alvaro Vazquez en nuestra oficina. Antes trabajó por las compañías de seguridad buscando su futuro. Ya está haciendo todas cosas buenas para la comunidad, peleando por sus derechos, peleando por su defensa, peleando por usted y su familia si están en un accidente. Y lo que él acaba de decir es algo muy importante. No nos enseñan nada en la escuela. No hablamos de ese tema en la escuela, pero algo así, si pasa a usted y su familia, le puede cambiar su vida al 100, mucho más mejor. Yo tengo el máximo cobertura que yo puedo tener en el uninsured y underinsured. So, estamos diciendo, muy importante, no queremos que nada pase a usted, pero por favor, tienes que comprar una aseguranza, sí es importante, pero no va por el mínimo. Agarra una aseguranza buena, especialmente que incluye uninsured, underinsured. So, un beneficio tan grande, señor Vázquez, ¿qué es? ¿Como otros $1,000 cada mes o como cuánto más o menos cuesta este uninsured, underinsured? Más o menos.
Más o menos puede ser fácil entre 12 a $20 adicionales al mes. Entonces, eso vale la pena para cubrir a su familia. Como digo, nunca queremos, yo le digo a todos, es mucho gusto conocerlos, pero nomás me hablan cuando tienen un accidente. Entonces, yo quiero que nosotros sepamos cuando estemos en la calle, Dios no quiera que nos pase algo, pero si nos pasa algo, estamos cubiertos. Y luego tiene el equipo de nuestro bufete para ayudarlos, para que agarren lo máximo sobre su accidente, para asegurar que no tengan deuda médica, que su tratamiento les salga bien y también que le pongamos un cheque en su bolsillo para ayudarles con este accidente que ustedes tuvieron.
Excelentísima comunidad. Ahí está 1 hora, 2 horas de su trabajo cada mes para pagar más a esas compañías para que usted está más protegido para usted y su familia. Señor Vázquez, un gusto conocer usted, un gusto trabajar diariamente con usted. Tiene la pasión por nuestra comunidad, tiene la pasión por casos de accidentes y encantamos tener usted aquí defendiendo nuestra comunidad. Últimas palabras que usted quiere decir a la comunidad.
Lo que debo decir a ustedes es gracias en confianza en nuestro bufete y igualmente, por favor, vengan a visitarnos. Si usted tiene una pregunta sobre su póliza, con mucho gusto lo recibimos aquí con manos abiertas. Venga a visitar nuestro bufete 2700 Norte Central, el 11 piso. Por favor, vengan a hablar con nosotros y también, como les digo, yo quiero prevenir que eso pase, pero por lo menos ya sabemos qué tipo de coberturas tenemos si tiene un accidente, pero con mucho gusto, o sea, ahí está la línea de teléfono 602-910-4040. Con mucho gusto yo personalmente los atiendo y los ayudo sobre cualquier pregunta que ustedes tengan de un accidente. Si usted ha tenido un accidente en los últimos 2 años, márquenos. Si alguien dejó su caso, márquenos. Nosotros vamos a revisar su caso. Si tiene un familiar que no está feliz con su abogado o con su bufete que tenga, por favor, márquenos. Yo personalmente miro su caso a ver si le podemos ayudar. Y con mucho gusto y muchas gracias a ustedes por su confianza en nuestro bufete.
Muchísimas gracias, Alvaro, que tiene excelente día. Le agradezco su tiempo otra vez.
Gracias a usted.
So, ahí está, comunidad. Tenemos el señor Vázquez, nuestro equipo. Lo estamos agarrando más personas con mucha experiencia para defender nuestra comunidad en casos de accidentes. Empezando este mes, más personas para que nos podamos seguir peleando por los derechos de nuestra comunidad en casos de accidentes. So, con gusto, aquí está su despacho. Ya vamos a cambiar temas a migración y como siempre, está bienvenido a poner sus preguntas en el idioma que ustedes quieren sobre accidentes, migración o penal. Thank you so much. Y esa pregunta es en inglés, so voy a contestar en inglés. Angelina Sanchez, watching here on Facebook. My husband was given the 10-year bar that will be up in 2023. How long before we can start consulting his return back to the U.S.? Great question. So let's go in a little bit of Immigration 100 for folks. What is the 10-year bar? And she didn't mean to write 10-year bar. She wrote that down here, so I know that. And let's get to this here. So the 10-year bar is for someone that's lived in the United States after 18 years old and 6 months for more than a year without permission from the U.S. government. The moment they leave the country, they have what's called the 10-year bar. It's a ridiculous law. Again, let me just state that again. It's a ridiculous law. It's a stupid law. So because you were here without permission and then you left, like, isn't that, are you supposed to leave if you're not status? But anyways, besides the point, so you have the 10-year bar. When you go back to your country of origin, the day you step foot, or outside the U.S., the day you step foot in that country begins to count a 10-year period from which you are not supposed to reapply for admission. There's waiver in certain instances for that, but let's just, for the sake of this argument, let's say there isn't a waiver available and you have to wait the full 10 years. So if you have to wait the full 10, that's one thing I want to talk about, Helena. It would be good to overview your entire case and see the ins and outs of it. But for sake of argument, let's say person couldn't get a waiver before the 10 years and had to wait the whole time. And if they want to reapply again, your husband wants to come back to the country, you want to have him back home, kids want him back home, we can start the process now in 2022. And why is that? Because he's not going to get his interview in the country of origin. We'll call it Mexico for sake of argument. Ciudad Juarez, let's say that as well for sake of argument, until we already have the case along the way being processed. So to begin a new case through a family member, through a spouse, through a kid over 21, we first have to file what's called an I-130, $535 government fee to prove that relationship. That has nothing to do with whether or not he can come back. It's the first step in the case. Think of it as a hoop we have to jump through to be able to get to the interview. So we have to prove that he has a spouse, a child over 21 that's a U.S. citizen who can sponsor him, right? So that first part of the case is going to take a while. It depends on what processing center gets it, but we're going to call it for now 8 to 14 months, could even be longer. So the fact that we have to wait for that I-130 to be approved, there's no reason to not get the ball rolling now, because then it's going to take that long just to get the first part of the case approved, which should win. There's no reason why it wouldn't. If the forms are filled out right, the government fees paid correctly, all that good stuff. So then when that wins here in the United States, they then send the case to the Department of State to schedule an interview in the country of origin. By the time that interview happens, guess what? The 10 years will be up, which is what the requisite is. And then we have to apply for another permission to reapply, even though the 10 years is up. And another reason, Angelina, I would suggest starting now is because we want to do a full overview of the case to make sure before you spend all the money on doing the consular processing that he is going to be approved, right? So we look at all grounds of inadmissibility other than the 10-year bar. If there's anything else we have to be concerned about, if we have to start preparing a waiver. So that's a really long answer to your very short question. So sorry about that, Angelina. But yes, start now, start right away. Let's get the ball rolling. And that takes me to another point, ladies and gentlemen. Multiple people have reached out to me recently being like, hey, I sent somebody your way and your staff is saying that they have to pay money to talk to you. I apologize for that, but to me, it's a good thing. It's a bad thing at the same time, right? Because there's so many people calling. We're very grateful for that, very appreciative of that. That's amazing that we essentially have 3 full-time people answering the phone nonstop. And again, I don't mean to say this for my ego, but they want to talk to me. I appreciate that, man. That's why I went to law school, to be able to help people that are in need of help, right? But because there is so much demand, we do charge a consulate fee to speak with me, so it's not always, so I can have a life, essentially. So I can work on the cases, I can spend time with the family, all that good stuff. So yeah, we do charge a consulate fee to speak to me, but guess what, Angelina? You just got it for free because you jumped on the Facebook Live. So any of your friends, family members, if they don't have the money for the consulate fee, totally understand. It's life. We've all been there before. Jump on the Facebook, jump on our YouTube, ask a question, and I'll do what I just did and answer it as good as I can, not holding anything back. Again, the consulate fee is really just because I don't have time to do every single one of them, but I reserve this time to be able to give these answers to folks, and I thank you all for following and for being in our lives. Rosenda tiene pregunta de Facebook también. Quiero hacer pregunta: afuera de mi casa se agarran a balazos y puedo aplicar por la visa U, pues yo participé con la policía. Muy buena pregunta, Rosendo. So, la visa U es para personas que fueron víctimas de un crimen de violencia. Tiene que ser un crimen especificado por el gobierno o relacionado al crimen que explicó el gobierno. Usted participó con la policía y usted fue dañado mentalmente sobre ese caso. So, si tiene esas 3 cosas, lo puede aplicar por una visa U, que incluye la oportunidad de aplicar por un perdón por como el 10-year bar y las otras cosas que la mayoría del tiempo no tiene un perdón. So, es un visa excelentísima. Probablemente la visa favorita que existe para mí, porque es un visa que dice, vamos a tomar todo en cuenta, vamos a ver si usted merece el chance de quedar aquí en el país o regresar al país si ya está fuera del país. Acaba de ganar una visa U para alguien que ya estaba echado a México y ya están de regreso porque ganamos la visa U. So sí es posible de ganar todavía si no está aquí en el país. So por esa razón me encanta la visa U. Pero tenemos que investigar, Rosendo, primero. Lo que yo quiero ver es ese reporte de policía. Si usted, y la cosa buena que usted está haciendo es participando con la policía, es un requisito. Pero vamos, en el caso de usted, al primer requisito. Yo quiero ver si usted tiene ahí como víctima o como testigo, ¿verdad? Ojalá es de víctima, porque si alguien está dando balazos en frente de su caso, es posible que lo están arrestando y poniendo cargos de asalto agravado con arma en contra de usted, porque un balazo podía acercar a usted o a su familia. So, ojalá alguien en su familia o usted es una víctima en este caso y no nada más un testigo. So, busca el reporte de policía, ir con los detectives. Ellos probablemente van a decir de ir al centro, dependiendo en qué ciudad es, a pedir el reporte completo para que ellos lo puedan dar a usted. Entrega a nosotros y yo lo puedo leer y decirle si podemos aplicar por la visa U o no. A vez en cuando sí tenemos éxito convenciendo a la policía de ser otra parte del reporte para poner usted o alguien de la familia como víctimas. Porque recordamos que si es un menor de edad, menos de 21 años, y son víctimas, aunque son ciudadanos americanos, ellos le pueden como pedir por visa U por sus papás. ¿Ok? So algo muy importante sobre la visa U. Si no tiene éxito consiguiendo el reporte, también nos puede marcar nosotros. Echamos el mano con eso. Si hay cobros, fuertemente por esa parte. Por eso yo normalmente digo, ir solo para que no tenemos que cobrar, tráiganos el reporte y podemos decir si califica por la visa U o no. So, excelentísima pregunta. Por favor, consigue el reporte. Yo le reviso si podemos o si podemos hablar con la policía para que poner a alguien en su familia como víctimas. ¿Ok? Muchas gracias por la pregunta. Ms. Rocha here giving the props to Mr. Prince. Appreciate that. Congratulations to Mr. Prince on his graduation. So, últimas minutos, comunidad, por preguntas. Last chance, last call. Not for alcohol, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, throw your questions down right now if you got them. Give me some feedback too if you can. This is the brand new setup in our new office here on the 11th floor. At the start, you can see the background there. It's the city of Phoenix. We're facing the south side. On this side, I could also go facing the east side over there, get some more lighting. I don't know where my little billboard thing is. We moved up from the other office, so that's missing somewhere, so we need that. Maybe we do some fancy things on the white column back there or something. But very excited to be in our new space. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And any questions, comments you have, if you're not watching on live, still drop them down below. Give us a message, give us a text message. Like, follow, subscribe, share, do all that stuff that they tell you to do in all the social media videos so we can continue to get this great content out for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Que tengan excelente día. Aquí esperamos. 602-910-4040. Here when you need.